hello. Are you or someone you know suffering from an inability to set rivets? If so, you've come to the right place. Welcome. Today we're gonna set a rivet. You're probably like, I don't understand. What do you mean set a rivet? Well, here is a rivet. Well, this is a double capped 9mm rivet, in case you were wondering. So it's roughly the size of an M&M. That's what I tell people. And what you would use this for is adding stability to your bag where your sewing machine can't necessarily, or they're for show, or again, just added stability to your bag. Where I mostly use them is to attach handles, because it's tough to get those under your machine and it's tough to get them to look really clean. So I always like to use rivets. So that's what we're gonna do today. I have this thing, this 3/4 inch square ring and a 3/4 inch handle. So pretend this is on a bag, because I don't have a bag to show you right now. And you're going to loop it through. It's tough with the strap connector on there, but it does work. So you'll loop it through, and I usually have it set to about 1 inch underneath. So imagine this is attached to your bag. And then there are 2 different dies for a rivet press. This is from Gold Star Tool. This is the color pink, because I like that color, so I bought it. But this is the 2mm hole punch from their website. And I've met David, who runs the company. Awesome guy. If you ever have any questions, you can call them, their website, email them. They're happy to help. So what I have is this 2mm hole punch. I guess I can unscrew this and show you the 2 different pieces, just in case you get it and you're like, help. Well, anyway, no, I'll unscrew it. Just because I love you guys, I'll unscrew it. So it does have a nice screw to keep things in place. But here is what the bottom of the hole punch looks like. You can see there is the sharp point that actually makes the holes. But that goes in, and then you just screw it in place. You want to make sure it's nice and tight, so nothing comes loose, etc. And then the top part has a little tiny hole that actually catches all of the fabric. So I've got a bunch of little discs in there, and they come out eventually. But if it gets clogged, you can usually like blow them out. Oh yeah, they're coming out. Whatever. Anyway, so that just screws in place. Righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Oh, there goes. Okay, so now you're ready to punch some holes, man. So the way I do this is I'll either hold it in place or I'll have a clip in place, and you can add a mark, or you can just kind of center it with your eyeballs. Usually with straps, the entirety of the hole punch on top kind of fits right in between the center, or in between the stitch lines along the side. So I'm gonna push it, and you kind of want to count how many times you hear it like squish and crunch. So usually it's about 2, and then you'll know that you've made a nice hole. The way I do it is I'll take the bottom or the male part of my rivet, and I'll push that through the back, and then I'll add the female part, or the part that you throw on the ground, the cap. I add that to the top, and you'll kind of hear a little bit of a click, and you'll feel it catch. So that isn't your rivet set, but at least it's in place. So I'm gonna set that aside, and then I'm gonna switch out the bottom pieces. I have 2 different ones because they released a green one first and then a pink, so I just have 2. But this is the bottom of your double-faced 9mm rivet cap setting die. A lot of words, I know. Hopefully I said them all right. But you're gonna place that in the bottom and screw it in place. At this point, I can screw these by hand because of how many times I've screwed it and unscrewed it, so it's fine. But then you'll just screw this one in place, and then once it catches, it's in there. So I put the back, hold on, let me think about this. Yes. So I put the bottom of it, or the post, in the bottom of the press. And you kind of want to like wiggle it around and make sure it's nice and caught. If you're able to move it a lot, it's not in place. So the way I do it is I just kind of push my finger and make sure it's nice and set, because if your rivet is not in that little groove, it's not going to set properly, and then it's going to make dimples in the rivet. And then I'll slowly lower the top down, and you can hear the rivet cap hook in place within this rubber yellow piece. And then you're going to push. And that is your rivet set. So you can see it's pretty centered. So it's going to take a lot of effort to unrivet this. That's one rivet that can't be unriveted. This is riveting stuff, right? Yeah, that's it. That's how you make your bags a little bit stronger. Rivets are really easy once you get the hang of it, and these are really pretty. They're available through my website, moremeknow.com. The link is down below. Bye, guys.